Okay, so for troubleshooting purposes, to try to diagnose what's going on, the first thing would be to look at the controller. The controller's plugged in. We obviously we don't have any red lights. If we had one red light here or here, could be the solenoids or the drain solenoid, or if there's a couple flashing lights, could be the controller's defective or sending an error message. Basically, if there's any red lights, then obviously that could be one indicator. If there's no lights showing and you're having some issues with the unit not running correctly, the first thing to do would be to unplug the unit, put line pressure to the unit and see if there's any leaks. If you have any air escaping, then that would be the first thing to address, because any air escaping is going to hinder the movement of the components. It's going to be because it works on pressure. So we'll diagnose that. If there's no leaks, then the next step would be to plug it in to see what happens. As soon as we plug it in, the first thing that will happen is the lights will flash, and then it'll cycle to the first tower. Now, in this case, if this was charged and it was just a little bit of air bleeding through the exhaust and no other leaks, then and it's not excessive air purging, it sounds like it would be working. But if you have excessive air purging at the silencer, or you have air leaking, for example, at the solenoids in the back here, the two diaphragms basically could be torn. If the diaphragm is torn, what happens is it's letting air pass. The air coming through the valve is leaking out. It's purging all the air because it's not making a seal when it closes. So that could be one problem. Another problem you could have is the push fittings are leaking, and you would notice that when you turn the valves on. But you should notice that as well when you have just pressurize the system with the power off. And then what you want to do is just to ensure that they're working. If it's purging just a little bit of air, the other possibility could also be that the main shuttle down here, it's seated all the way over, but it's not completely sealed. It's just moved over and you have some air escaping. If you have a little bit of air escaping, there's a good indication perhaps the O-ring is torn, pieces missing, or deformed. It's a matter of just replacing the main shuttle at the bottom.